depending on who gets selected. Who knows? Who knows?
But back from politics and into Counter-Strike, we see actually some grenades being used from Dignitas in this pistol round. They already have control of Secret. Astralis seems willing to let them have that. Dupree challenging early, gets punished by Crowman, and now things looking good. 5-4 situation. Will they get the bomb down? Tensky actually falls with the bomb to device. What?
Ding, ding.
How'd that happen?
Must have been shot in the leg from the catwalk area. We've got frags all over the shop. The bomb needs to be collected. The bomb requires collection. Bomb disposal service have the bomb surrounded. Kremen and Rubino trying to retrieve it.
Can't be the head disposal.
It is a weird place to lose the bomb.
Service.
That is a nasty situation for Rubino as well. The double peak, inferior range.
You hate to see it, James. They had control of the lower bomb side, but the bomb carrier was twiddling his thumbs.
It's kind of like, do you remember Micro Machines on the Nintendo?
Oh, I love that game.
It's like someone's
I
gone
do
off the
have
table.
24 years.
Someone's gone off the table or something.
I played on the Amiga 500 Plus, James.
Nintendo was before my time. I had PlayStation.
James, you have a Bison.
I had nothing before PlayStation.
Played like Commodore 64.
Device with the Bison. He is looking to stack the cash, and we've got 4 players without helmets. That's not an ideal range for the Device, though. That's a he just took meat shots, man. He just took meat shots. If there was a squeaky push, the Bison would have been really interesting, but it wasn't. So it wasn't.
Yeah, he's just running outside. I do wonder what the expectation was. I guess he's probably just trying to get behind the T-Red and just trying to maybe just high close range or something.
I don't even know what the bonus is for the Bison.
600.
600.
But he couldn't make the mad dash. All these Deagles are actually dangerous. You have to kind of respect them on this map. Those things can get really scary.
Kremen's been popping heads, right? With the Deagle recently.
What's that?
Yeah, with the pistols.
Yeah, I think Kremen was getting some D kills in yesterday.
Yeah, he's got really nice first bullet accuracy as Kremen.
Maybe he played Quake then.
It is distinctly a possibility. Let's look at the lower sights opened up here. And this is okay for Astralis, as long as they, as the T's start to get onto the site to get the plant down and so on, as long as they sort of contain them. I like the cautious approach from Astralis, actually, not rushing in, trying to use team play, trying to get everybody in position, allowing the bomb to go down. Respecting the Deagles.
Awkward. Glaive 23 HP. Zipex has kept control of the control room area, for those of you new to Nuke. It's a pretty strong position for to hold. He's just gone through the window there of control room. And now both T's are outside the site, and the bomb is planted in a position they can't necessarily defend. Fox now trying to get some more damage in.
This was a great round from Astralis. If you think about all the ways other teams may have approached that round, they allowed them to plant the bomb. They waited a pretty long time to get all 4 players in position, and then as they're retaking the site, everybody knows exactly where to look and what to clear all at once. And that was just the coordination and the team play there is really nice, honestly.
I think it's worth pointing out Zipex in particular. He was by the double doors, and I think a lot of people might just open the doors to try and stop the plant. But again, you're not playing to your advantages numbers-wise. So again, Astralis focusing on securing the rounds and continuing to do so in this. Dupree's been taken down, but if that's the only casualty, then I think Astralis will be pretty happy with that.
And it's all too common too that a lot of teams they will favor being a bit more aggressive and focusing a bit more on their individuality, and maybe losing instead of 1 player there, maybe 3 or 4 even. It's quite common, and this is going to go a really long way to assuring that Astralis are going to have that very solid first half on the CT side, where I use the word starving out their opponent, or the phrase to starve out their opponent. I think that's what Astralis are likely going to do here, especially with a start like this. Quite curious to see how they'll play their rotations and positioning.
They also do a very good job of being aggressive towards yard. Too many teams just have an opera on yard, and then they let them take control of secret, and then they have some sort of a setup in secret. Astralis is capable of switching things up, going for some early aggression and getting early advantages. As you see, Device finding his way towards secret early, but he has been spotted, so that's not a powerful position for him anymore. Once your opponents know you're there early on, it's It's very easy for them to flush you out. And we see them actually going for that secret control early on, but the bomb is left all the way towards lobby. So that's either going to go ramp later on or upper, or someone's going to have to go back and get it and then go secret later on. Bang.
That's a nice opening kill for the Dignitas side. Again, they've got time. They're not going to go crazy rushing around. The bomb is still being left outside the lobby and needs to be collected at some point by Dignitas. So they still have their options available to them, and it seems they'll focus for now on trying to get another kill for capitalizing on the weaknesses that have been exposed by the Dignitas side. Astralis again with the late smoke, just ruining the timing, or potential timing of Dignitas, making it hard for Dignitas to stretch out the remainder of Astralis. Glaive just spotting, not much else he can do from that position with the UMP. Again, it seems they just want to make it really hard for Dignitas to get a bomb plant as opposed to finding the kills in those positions. 25 seconds for Dignitas, moving into the high ground. So it seems the A split is on. Kramer's coming in around the back. That's an important kill onto Kiabi. Dupree's being taken down as well. And now Glaive with a nice 2K. He's got good positioning around the bridge to stay alive for as long as possible, making it a 1 versus 1. Zipex with nice positioning. And now Tensky has to make a gamble here. Plant the bomb or wait for Zipex. Zipex patiently repositioning. Tensky not ready for it. Another round in the bag for Astralis.
Yeah, they played so patiently, and if you consider that they had the UMP still, and they had a situation where they had 2 smokes left around just over 1 minute, and they managed to make those last until, I think they threw them both at around 45 seconds to cut off the choke points and put Dignitas into a worse position. So again, just a really patient play. I mean, it was highlighted by you guys that the decision making of Astralis is amazing, and for them, it's paramount to their ethos and how they approach the game is to make the most consistent and best decisions, and we're seeing that so far from them. Now the AWP is out, things can really get dangerous. Device brandishing that AWP. A very fast round though. Tensky just rushing down Glaive in secret. Immediately opening it up as the players go through. Squeaky as well. Croman able to trade onto the player on main as well with the help of Fox, and the bomb will go down. Very rapid rounds here. Really nice explosive play from Dignitas.
That's a very important kill from Zipex. Reveals his position, but now perhaps Device can get something done. Suggesting he's gone down the ladder, but see what he chooses to do. Is he going to flash for his teammate? Seems they're discussing a plan. Zipex with an information play. Getting a bit too greedy though, trying to molly the window. Difficult position for Astralis, and they're unable to bring it back. Dignitas get their first round on the board. And again, there have been some expensive rounds for Astralis recently, so their money's going to be in a tough spot.
But it also goes back to that 1 round where they were up against Deagles. They managed to keep those UMPs alive as well, only losing 1 player where a lot of teams would have lost more. So they're going to have just enough here to get that AWP back in the hands of Device, UMP, couple M4s, low utility though. So we might expect them to try to create a play earlier on in the round to try to level the disadvantage. And indeed a close play outside. Device looking to see what he can get early on. Starting things off on the outer catwalk, dropping off. Glaive discovered, and he can't get anything. So then now the pressure somewhat falls to Device.
Yeah, part of Glaive's position was to keep Device safe from certain angles, but those options have disappeared. And more options are going into a sinkhole for Astralis. They've lost their second player. Kiabi just with a deagle, perhaps he can pick up a weapon that has been dropped elsewhere. Obviously, Glaives will be unobtainable, but indeed he has picked up an M4. So 5 versus 3 for Dignitas. Might have somebody wrap into main. It seems the A split might be possible here. And again, the less players Astralis have, the more they'll be forced into action. But 2 versus 5 might be time to abandon ship. Dupree, though, more or less stuck on the A sites at this point, so he'll probably go down with the sword. Tensky moving into ramp on his own, but at this point, are you just moving into a site together, Yanko? 5 versus 2?
You can either try sort of a weak fake and then have the rest of the team just go to a site. For example, if you go with 5 people to an upper bomb site and you don't execute it properly, there is still a slight chance of you losing the round. So this was fine, even though I think it was Tensky who died, still got the call that Device was on ramp, so they knew that there was 1 player max at the upper bomb site, and then you are going to be able to trade properly unless you make some grave mistake. So I think it's situational, depending on your positions at the time. I think in this situation it was a good call. You know, you can always send one player to basically scout out the bomb site, and if he doesn't get any contact, then his teammates can join him. If he does, they can go to the opposite side. But
So go ahead.
I agree, in any case, you should group up with at least 4 players when you have such a big advantage.
Dignitas played it well too. Just understand that they got an early kill. Astralis were in a weakened position, just holding their grounds. Croman caught, I think it was Kirby, I think. Oh, no, it wasn't Kirby. It was Zipex, I think, going aggressive towards the radio, trying to make a play, basically. Croman caught it out, and the patient stuff there from Dignitas did pay off. So they got 2 rounds on the board. They've crushed the economy of Astralis. The Astralis side does still have the AWP in the hands of Device, as you can see, and that could be dangerous, and they're going to try to, or they're going to need to see where Device is. That's the problem player for them. And once they locate him, they might try to speed up the pace and try to out-rotate him, out-maneuver him, but it can be difficult. Nuke. It's a great start though. Croman diving straight into the lower bomb site after that entry frag, spotting another player there, breaking the vents, and just clearing everything out here, looking for a very fast lower plan as Fox will eviscerate Dupree.
Vice by the door trying to stop the bomb from going down, but it was already being guarded, and he is indeed surrounded. Zipex left alone with a USP, and there's not much hope for him.
Great awareness from Dignitas in that round. After going to the lower bomb site, everyone stuck to the right side of ramp of the splitter. No one went to the left side because that way you are more exposed to the vents, like the CT vents, where Device was actually with the AWP. And if he goes for the wide peak to see the left side from his perspective, that way he can get, like, he has to peek too wide, and it's easier for Dignitas to trade effectively. So small thing, but when you play Astralis, even the slightest details matter.
Astralis timeout coming in, trying to right the ship as they come back in for their buy. No AWP in this round for the Astralis team. So we'll see if Dignitas can keep up the pressure. Fox is on the AWP now. But I'm curious as to how an AWPer implements the AWP on the T side of a very young team, which is essentially a mix at the moment. Still waiting to gel as a team, eke out their strategies, find what works for them, what doesn't, learn each other's habits, and so on. Now, there are common old strats like looking through hut into main, but the CTs will be expecting that one at the very least. So we'll see if Fox maybe tries to get a pick towards ramp later on. It seems he's going onto the silo for the time being, and it looks like a fast play from Dignitas towards Secret. Glaive already in a position which may not be expected. Hensky will be at a disadvantage, creeping around the corner of the smoke. And again, you see some shortcomings there, perhaps. Flashbang may be needed from the teammate. It's a great smoke from the CTs to ruin things. Glaive lucky to get away with that one.
Timing a bit off there, but he will survive. And the same play not working twice with Dignitas. You know, previously we saw Tensky just taking off the head of Glaive immediately, but he was on a different position on the stairs. Mixing things up now. I'm sure Device would love an AWP. He's got a lot of players around him outside. And he'll soon find out that fact as well as he starts to get more and more information. There's one spot. JChem though, able to catch Glaive in the held position. Device trying to find an angle into that player, and in doing so opens his back up, and that's going to be a problem. It's now down to 3 players for Astralis as they start to struggle in this round. And Dignitas, they've got a nice advantage to play off of, and they've got good positioning here to split onto the upper bomb site, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And it's just too overwhelming here for the Astralis defense, and it looks like it will all crumble away.
I think Dignitas have a good opportunity for an upset, at least as far as this half goes. I mean, who knows how good their CT side will be, but Astralis' economy is quite ruined at the moment, and again, if Dignitas keep up their momentum, then they could have a dominant half. Still early days, however. And again, Astralis' loss bonus is only rising at this point. So Device will be back on AWP, and then Astralis can play their normal game. And indeed, they have different positions that they can mix up with outside. That is a very misleading poll, it must be said. The poll suggests that you can sit on the pole, but you can't sit on the pole.
And it's interesting how Dignitas open these rounds up. You know, we saw them they're just trying to open up frags outside, and every time they've done it, they've actually been successful. You can see it sort of crumbled when Glaive died and Device couldn't get a trade frag quickly enough, and instead just died himself as well. And so I wonder if Astralis, instead of thinking of any adaptation, they're just thinking, all right, we just have to play a bit better outside. That said, one of the things that Dignitas really has going for them is that they do have a lot of individual skill. As Yanko said previously, you know, one may consider them the poor man's phase. You know, the kind of group of mercenaries, a lot of experienced and individually skilled players. Oh, that is a stunning shot there from Fox, catching Device.
I think if anything, Astralis should try and play a bit more passive towards Yard. See if Dignitas can actually execute properly when they give them map control. Maybe have 2 players defend secret, 2 players on upper, 1 watching for the rafters push, and 1 player on ramp. Something along those lines. Because right now, the rounds Dignitas is winning is when they get an early advantage.
Yeah, when they get those 1v1s. Nice lineup there for Zipex, and this changes things quite dramatically. Guns to potentially be collected by the pistoling players of Astralis, but they're not going to jump the gun, as it were, as they have good positions and a man advantage, or well, a couple men in the advantage. So it's down to Rubino and Jacob to find a way in, and Jacob's going to be trying to make the play here. He's been spotted on the outer catwalk. They really wanted him to be hidden for as long as possible, but that's going to fall to the hand of Rubino. He'll go in, get traded, and Kirby with an easy finish on Jacob, and guns have been stolen.
Wow, they've stolen the AWP, so that's a nice bonus for Deve. 5-4, surprising win from Astralis. Those 2 kills from Zipex spun things around enormously. So there's a great opportunity for Astralis to right the ship, so to speak. Dignitas back on the full buy as well. Money's good for both teams now, or at least the buy is. Ooh, the flashbang not good enough to, well, not enough to save Tensky. Fox spotted on Silo. Again, the Astralis are doing a good job of spotting information in some of these rounds. But again, they're choosing, you know, not every time you see a player do you have to fight to the death necessarily. I think there was a good example of that when they had the UMPs in the hell position, and he was just finding the info out and then forcing Dignitas to use their time and not have enough time to secure a bomb site.
And Astralis are playing that man advantage right now. They're just chilling back at Device, taking a very passive position. Oh, the flick though, and Rubino very quick there to the headshot. That's unbelievable, and that's going to even things up. That said, the Astralis still have good passive positions. They still nuke. They can rotate quickly as long as they're able to play a delay. But that said, Chroman's going to perhaps be able to get into control room for free, as now the position's been given up by Astralis, which is somewhat surprising. I wonder what the thinking is behind this. But oh, Kirby is still there actually. So at least there is that. 1 headshot for him. He's going to call reinforcements, and the rotation begins.
Nice headshot from Kirby, and that means it's going to be really hard to plant the bomb. Where does Jacob plant? He has no one covering the ramp position. Almost gets a second kill, but that's going to leave Fox alone. So again, falling apart for Dignitas, this time thanks to Kiabi. Great frags around the new door. And there goes Fox. 3 players alive for Astralis. But there's another buy coming in from Dignitas. Does Fox go for the AWP? And he does.
This is the problem when you play against Astralis. Even though Dignitas made a good call here, had good positioning, just Kirby stepping up massively with those 2 kills, buying enough time for his teammates to rotate in, and also cutting off 1 angle of attack.
So Fox heading towards the ramp position. See what Zipex chooses to do as the smoke disappears. So they're expecting Device to be outside, which means Fox can try and get a pick with relative safety. But I do wonder if Zipex heard Fox's scope and that's caused the rotation for Device. So maybe Fox in for a nasty surprise, does not have the angle superiority, and that's not what he wanted to see. Device waiting the better end of the angle as well. And again, it's just kills, quite kills here and there for Astralis. Suddenly, Dignitas find themselves in a 2 versus 5 in maybe 20 seconds.
Yeah, Astralis are playing in a tighter fashion. I think generally a little bit more passive, as Yanko was suggesting.
I think that round is
we're
a
seeing
great example of how good Astralis is at reading the game and understanding the situation in which they're in. Device just at the right time rotating back to ramp, then Glaive being aggressive from Secret, and also the awareness of Kirby and Dupree, what they need to look out for. Just a very, very nice round from Astralis and a flawless round.
They've really taken control back of the game, and Dignitas taking the timeout to work things out. So this is where it could get scary, where Astralis could start to get quite the lead, and they don't need to do anything differently, really. Just continue doing as the wise Yanko has suggested, and we're going to see Device once again going outside. He's got the open hand still, of course, going straight to Garage. So perhaps looking for a very fast pick. He knows he's up against pistols. Ooh, that looked like it was going to connect. Oh my goodness. Fox with the 1 deke. That's a problem, because that AWP is out there in the open. Oh, lots of players here being shot in the legs.
In the legs. Oh, they've exposed themselves too much to Kiabi. He is playing well today. So it seems the crisis may have been averted. Tensky will be the last one to receive a headshot there, but what a nice shot from Fox. Will he make it? Oh, that is a tease, isn't it? That's a tease. I have to spend some cash to pick that one up again. That's unfortunate he missed the first shot though. Could only assume he moved. It's really weird when you're AWPing and you will start strafing before you take your shot, even though it's weird mentally because you expect to land your shot, so you don't necessarily need to move, but it's just a force of habit, I suppose. Anyway, Astralis having absolutely none of this nonsense from the T side, charging through ramp, and it's their turn to ruin their opponent's economy and put Dignitas in a bad spot. And that's pretty cool. I think killing 2 people, again, for a new team is going to be really hard to deal with, and it's proving to be going to be ready for the second player. He was really low, but Astralis are everywhere. They're overwhelming them in the dying rounds of the first half for a 9-4 score.
It's funny you bring up the movement thing. When Quake players come and play CS, if they've never played CS before, hardest thing for them is standing still and aiming. Because and vice versa with the CS players going to Quake, because in Quake you always 100% are moving, pretty much. So you're compensating always when you're aiming for how you're moving, as well as how they're moving and predicting how they're moving. So interesting difference.
Moving.
Yeah, movement,
I always enjoy the freedom of Quake in comparison. Just run around and bounce around and just aim at people and click, aim and click.
And the dodging elements at the high level are very complex as well. But we'll have
Talking about the game, we're actually
9-4 scoreline.
casting Counter-Strike.
And we'll see already another pick-off outside. And it's what's been working for Dignitas generally. When they get an opportunity to take shots outside, that's where they're getting their advantages, as they start to pinch onto the ramp area as well. And that's going to be Dignitas in a massive lead here. Device and Dupree looking to save the situation. And Device with a frag outside might start to make things slightly easier. Dupree also doing a good job there from Hut. So now they've got a better picture as to what's going on. They've evened up the numbers, and they've still have a smoke and a flash left. Astralis back in the round.
Smoke grenades will suggest that there is a player perhaps in heaven. And that player has rotated, so for a few seconds, perhaps it gave Astralis an extra man, if you will, but one has been taken away. So do they reposition based on where they think Device might be? Jacob, though, he's positioned in almost an anti-eco position in case you're expecting a lobby push. Oh, no, that's the bomb as well. That is the bomb. How does he miss that?
That's a bad miss,
That's
James.
a bad miss. Fox has revealed his position, and he's low as well. Didn't have time on his side, and that's unfortunate for Dignitas. I can only imagine that's one of those situations where you start shooting before your crosshair reaches the player, and everything's out of control.
Cool, we get the auto sniper from Device now. Gonna be quite fun to see this. You don't really see it that often at all, the auto sniper.
The Bulgarians love to use it.
Oh yeah?
I remember when I was playing. You just pick an op and kill them.
Let's wait until I'm streaming again.
Oh, look at this. He's going
See
straight up
auto sniper.
on the CT container there. It's going to be repositioning into Garage. And I don't know that the T's will necessarily expect this. And it's so good as well. If the wall of smokes come down, you can just spam through the wall of smokes. Oh, it looks like someone has slipped through the cracks there. It's Croman taking down Zipex, but at this point, it's just a couple of UMPs left for Dignitas. It's very much looking like an 11-4 unless this AK of Tensky can get him 4 kills. Still has to worry about the auto sniper outside as well. He's pretty much pinned down, and he will be decapitated by Kirby. So 11-4 from Astralis. They had a hiccup after the 4th round there, but they set the course straight once again.
Yeah, but it shows you how it's like the smallest of margins in some of these rounds. Like, for example, Dignitas losing that anti-eco, where Astralis only had 1 saved gun. If they win that round and the round that we saw Device win in a 1v2, if Jaken gets that kill, that's already in itself 9-6, which is much more doable. And maybe because of the way economy works, maybe they get another free round in between. But it's not to be 11-4 for Astralis as they go for an upper fake.
Nice. That's a nice flash.
Nice flash.
I have not seen that before. The door has opened afterwards. That was artful.
That's really nice. And Dignitas are going to be spotting the movement of Astralis now, just running into ramp, giving it up, as you should. And Astralis, so they're going to just barrel down into the lower side. They have lots of time, so they can decide to double back through lobby, do whatever they want really, or go towards hell. But they're going to go straight down to the lower bomb side. JKM is waiting patiently. Quite a common position in this sort of situation for a CT to be in, but he's missing a lot of shots here, and that could be a problem. The bomb is, I think, starting to be planted. Indeed, it will go down. Croman absolutely destroying Astralis players one after the other. 3 kills for him, leaving just Dupree left. The bomb is ticking away, though, so Dupree has something to work with as he comes in on the flank, but Tensky watching for it. And that's going to be a pistol round by Dignitas. Croman again, this guy with pistols, he's quite consistent.
Yeah, nice 3K from him, all headshots of course. It's really bizarre to watch the pistols when the Ts are just all bouncing around, trying to avoid getting headshot by anybody holding an angle, so just constantly jumping around the ramp like they've all got faulty mice. Nice job by Croman. There's opportunity for Dignitas. I feel like there was a window for Dignitas in the first half until they lost that round, which I don't know if it was an eco or a force buy from Astralis with a saved rifle on Zipex, but the score could have been closer, but Astralis prevailed. So now they have opportunity once again to close that gap and try to have a good CT side. Again, we can't really expect too much from Dignitas because they're so new. See how it goes. First, it's anti-force buy time. Rubino's in a nasty spot. He may be losing a UMP. The numbers game, too great. And that's the first kill. Tensky holding down the upper vents for the time being, but it seems the bomb site will be seized by Astralis.
Still players lurking around, though, as we'll see the bomb being planted in the smoke. Jacob can't quite find it in time with the UMP. That's all the bullets gone has to go for a lengthy reload. James thinks the reload should be buffed. And we'll have Astralis just playing behind the doors, buying as much time as possible with these Tech 9s. Another Molotov to be tossed as well. And there are multiple smokes for Dignitas, so it shouldn't be a problem. Fox opening the door and hitting Device with the butt of his rifle. This looks pretty good for Dignitas so far. And it will continue to look good. Ooh, Glaive can't find anything with the Tech 9 spam. Oh, there should be time. He's fine.
I don't know.
He's got this.
If he kills him, that's GG. They don't have a
Yeah.
kit.
Yeah, very true. Great round though. I mean, 2 kills, a bomb down as well. So lots of pressure onto Dignitas' economy. We'll see the just Deagles in this round. Device actually purchasing some Kevlar. Is he gonna pistol up with that? Is someone gonna drop him one perhaps? Or is he just going Glock Kevlar? I guess it's quite cool because you can expect one of your teammates to die with one of the Deagles, so you don't necessarily need to buy one yourself, as you can't all take Deagle angles at the start of the round anyway.
I think that's just a mistake, surely. Why would you pick Glock and Kevlar?
Because maybe that's the reason, and then obviously he saves enough money to be able to pick up an all-place run if he wants. I'm not sure where his money landed actually. I'm not sure how many kills he got, but that was a nice flick from Kirby, and there's a weapon available now potentially on the outside. Ooh.
So what do you think about Glock Kevlar, Yanko, on device?
I think it's a good investment. Can't all have pistols, can't all have Kevlar. Some players just buy pistols, others just buy Kevlar.
I mean, someone's going to die with the Deagle probably.
Absolutely.
And you can pick it up. You can't all take angles at the start of the round. I don't know, man. I think it's okay.
You like the It's Glock Kevlar.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
No, I don't know. I think it's probably a misbuy from him in a sense that he wanted to buy Kevlar and a pistol, then realized that he wouldn't have enough money for an op, or maybe he wanted to just buy a pistol and bought Kevlar instead. There's no reason for it. If you're going to invest 650 in a Kevlar, you might as well invest another 300 in a P250.
Well, somehow he's managed to pick up an M4, so perhaps it was all prophesized in the Astralis Bible or something like that. Jacob now, last man standing. What has happened to Dignitas in this round? The Deagle from Glaive has, and Kirby, have cost a lot to Dignitas. Jacob, he knows where both players are, but he's mixing things up. Ooh, the tag through the door! Device on all of 8 HP. How do they play the trade game? Can Jacob solve this? Oh, surely that's a bait because, oh, that's lovely. Glaive trying to get him before he disappears, and Jacob somehow salvages the round just about for his team. Astralis doing colossal damage, all things considered. I mean, what happens when the buy comes in, if that's what a pistol round is like? I
mean, in the last round too, they got 2 kills. So 2 kills, 4 kills, that's, yeah, really, really insane damage.
And there you can see the difference between Astralis and most other teams. Remember that round when Astralis was 4v5 in the anti-eco, how they let their opponents plant the bomb, they played it safe, conceded the plant, sure, but didn't lose a single player after that. And here, Dignitas, not only they concede the plant, but they lose 4 players in the process. And now Astralis in a good position to reset them, but Fox finds an opening kill on Yard, actually on Ramp, excuse me, on Dupree. And Fox seems to prefer this. In the first gun round, he takes the op to places where you wouldn't really expect him to be in the first round. First gun round, that is. As we see Astralis pushing upper.
Yeah, trying to get it done with a quicker pace. Tensky awaiting patiently though, and there's 3 oncoming players. It will be hard for Tensky not to be traded here, and he will in fact be traded in the end as Croman comes in. Very swift stuff from him once again. So Glaive, he just needs to get some damage in now, and I think if he can do so, it might even... I doubt Astralis are going to be thinking about a force buy, but let's see where they're left economically speaking after that last round.
That was a slight mistake from Glaive because he was on Yard. His job was to basically watch the flank for his teammates, but I'm not really sure what happened. Did he get spotted and was repositioning because, I mean, those 2 fast kills from Croman salvaged the round for Dignitas. If Glaive gets the kill on him, bomb gets planted, and Astralis are in a favorable after plant position. So, not looking bad right now for Dignitas. If they can have flawless or close to flawless round here, if they can build some bank, they have a good chance of making this comeback.
I like what Astralis decided here. We talked about this yesterday. They're in a position, they took a timeout to actually decide, but they're in a position where they all had around $4K, slightly above, slightly below on some players. And there's a lot of teams that would just buy in this situation, but we see actually a half buy from them, some grenades and Tech 9s. So they're going to have a great buy in the next round. And this round, you know, we've already seen what they can do with these types of rounds. So we'll see whether or not they can get some value here. And again, if it goes badly, they have a full buy next round. So let's see what the plan looks like. Just rushing straight through Squeaky. Smoke there for Glaive to play around. This is actually quite scary. Seems as though they don't even realize he's there. So Glaive's position, quite scary.
It's the player
right now.
Rafters who's a problem though.
Ooh.
Yeah, the high ground is too exposed. Fox will he reposition? Again, he can go for shots through the corner of the box, but might be better just to run away. Still alive somehow. Going for the close range, but a flying headshot from Device, and he's picked up the AWP. Did he see Rubino leave? He did tag, but Rubino's still alive.
He knows he's tagged him as well. He sees the
Surely
blood.
he could just shoot him through the middle. It is fairly wide in fairness. Just waiting, waiting. They've got time with Astralis, over a minute on the clock.
He's calling the position surely as well. Is it Rubino or JChem?
Rubino.
He's very dead, James. I think he's very dead. There we go. Oh, we have a retake attempt that's actually not going too badly, but it's a double peek here, coming back with the bomb. Croman. What on earth just happened there? Just erased the remainder of Astralis. Croman, perhaps the player that people know the least about coming into this lineup, and he's been the most surprising, perhaps by note of that.
Yeah, we don't know what to expect from him. We don't know much about him. We don't know where his ceiling is as an individual. What he's like we don't know anything about it.
I mean, he did play in the Norse team. That was another one of Refresh's teams, the all-Norwegian lineup with Zeves actually was a player in that team as well, but they didn't really find much success with that team. They disbanded, and Croman got picked up by Dignitas, Zeves as well as a coach. So apparently they think he's got potential. I'm assuming it mostly comes from Rubino and JChem, seeing as how they're both Norwegian and probably have the most insight.
Norgay. Astralis looking for openings. Could this be a faster round from them? We have Croman, the ever dangerous Croman, it seems, around T-Red at present, but perhaps he's been spotted because that is quite the Molotov from the T site. How does Croman escape this position now? It's not looking too successful. Of course, as I say that, he's going to get a kill, but the trade is finally there before he even starts reloading. How deep will Dignitas go outside? You see Rubino just waiting for his moment, but if he goes too far, he will get double peeked. Kiabi waiting for him to appear. 3 players outside for the CTs. Fox around Warehouse and Jacob in this position in secret. Ooh, Fox. You've got the advantage. How far do you want to extend? That's a very exposed position.
It's a really interesting spot for Astralis with the control of the map that they have. They've got that ramp area. Starting to move the entire line up there. They've only got 3 left, so they want to put all their eggs in one basket at this point and hope that they can find success just creeping down lower. Some sound cues, but I don't think any sound cues to be heard. No players in proximity at the moment. And in go the grenades. So looking for a very fast approach here. Try to get the plant immediately. Try to get at least 2 players in good post-plant position. Spray comes in from JChem. He's going to miss wildly. And that's important for Astralis. That's going to give them a chance now. And also they know where JChem is. Just playing around the door. Able to savage Kirby there. He tries to go in.
Wow.
And Zipex, meanwhile, Device holding things down in their respective positions. But they're still outnumbered.
Molotov onto Jacob. A Device with 6 HP. There's Molly on the right-hand side and unable to get that last frag. They know where Zipex is now, but can they avoid giving him 1 versus 1? Jacob past the window. The man-made window in the door. And that's the round for Dignitas. Jacob with the kit. Tensky rescuing AWP. Dignitas continue the march. Not easy, but indeed the gap is closed to 2.
I think here, if you're Astralis, you might want to try and group up. Basically, just go yard with 5 players and go towards secret. Use your utility to plant the bomb and then play the after plant situation, because Dignitas is playing really well individually at the moment and they are winning most of their duels as well. So if you keep splitting up, might be difficult for you to find an opening.
Wall of smokes outside. 1T will make his way towards Secret. Dignitas choosing a push, and surely this will not be expected. How much information? Oh, I wondered if they'd go further than that. Crowman knows, taking the bomb, carry it down. He's got Jacob's backup, and the push comes in from Hut at the same time. The round collapsing like a star. Astralis being consumed. How much damage can they do now, Glaive, with all of 14 HP? Nice headshot from Zipex, still with all his health. Is he positioned with cover from upper? It's pre-fire. Again, Fox is on the high ground. He's in heaven, so Zipex might get taken down at any time. Dignitas, they've got control of the bomb. It seems they will hold their angles, and Fox will try to ensure there's no flank from the hell position. Jacob spotted towards ramp, but Tensky will be basing his teammate now.
It's not really working out for Astralis, so they're trying all that they can to make the plays work. They knew that Crowman, and rather Tensky was there all along, but couldn't really do much to deposition him. 11 to 11, and that was a perfectly timed push from Radio Room that completely caught Astralis off guard. Bunch of free frags, and they were never expecting that. That is some well-timed aggression.
Great play from Dignitas in that round with the aggression. Well-timed, well-executed. 2 players from ramp. The squeaky push came in at the same time. And it's great to see them have these adjustments after Fox got smoked off on yard. Really putting a lot of pressure on Astralis. Just floating that lobby push, basically. It's something that Astralis is going to have to keep an eye out for in the future as well when they decide to go yard.
Pistols again for Astralis, and they have proven to be dangerous for the CT side to fight. Definitely don't want to make it easy for the T side. Kremen repositioning now. 3 players remain, and again, just spotting the information. Not necessary for him to commit to the fight. Indeed, he will push Glaive into Kremen territory. No kills for Astralis in this round just yet. Dupree's made his way onto the site, carrying the bomb as well. And perhaps he's got a chance to plant. Looking for more damage. I think the loss bonus is high enough that that bomb plant isn't as important as it otherwise might be. That is a great shot from Kiabi. Croman's crouch may have saved him there. And finished off the round. Dignitas take the lead. But again, Astralis, despite not planting the bomb, they'll have 5 to 7k. So the full buy is in play. Not really opting for the AWP on the T side.
It's pretty difficult for Astralis to make a proper read here because Dignitas was and is switching things up so well. Fox going yard and ramp, them being passive and aggressive. Interested to see what they go for. Seems like they're faking secret control, only sending 1 player there behind the smokes. The rest of the team setting up for what seems to be an upper execute.
Ooh. Rubino peppering.
Timing there, very good to catch Rubino with the grenade in his hand. Tetsky in good position though, able to provide covering fire from above, and that should be enough to close down the round in combination with Mr. Croman, who seems to be the thorn in the side of Astralis, one of the many thorns at the moment, as they are really struggling to get rounds against Dignitas. Dignitas having a really good CT side at the moment, and Astralis. And what would you like to see them do most, Janka? Because it does seem like Dignitas have found really good timings to kind of essentially stop Astralis' plans before they can really get going.
Yeah, the thing is, what I mentioned that they could do, the secret push, it's a bit difficult to do it now, simply because Dignitas has all the confidence, and Astralis did try a lot of other things, so now that's a bit obvious, and Dignitas is probably just going to over-rotate, so saying that, Astralis, probably the best thing for them is to send more people down secret, get a kill somewhere, so that Dignitas gives the call that they're actually trying to take control of lower, and then go towards upper. But that's very difficult to execute in general, so especially when you're pressured like this and when you need to start winning rounds, otherwise you're going to lose the game. So either go for that, which is difficult to execute, or still just try to brute force your way through secret, take control of lower, plant the bomb, and then rely on team play to win the after-plan situation. And again, a switch up Croman going towards Secret early on, so he is going to have that information. A lot of action coming his way then.
Indeed, and he's been so good with the spray downs. 4 frags coming so incredibly easy to Croman, showing us that he is quite proficient and a player to be feared. As Zipex tries to get some additional damage, but Croman is seeking the ace, and that's exactly what he's going to find. Every single frag makes it look so easy.
What a wipeout of a round.
It's also
Really
very
makes it look
strange.
easy.
I mean, it's a beautiful round from Croman, but a bit strange that none of the Astralis players are actually even considering that position, especially because Croman already threw his smoke. And when you see a CT smoke on Yard, it's probably being thrown so that someone can sneak through Secret early on. And it's also something that both Glaive and Device do fairly often. So, small mistake from Astralis there, but an amazing round from Croman nonetheless.
Astralis going for what looks to be exactly the same strat in terms of, well, as far as a fast Secret goes. Maybe not expecting the CTs to be in the same place, and indeed, it's Jacob who's going to be the first engager, and he will be the recipient of a headshot. We've got somebody close in the vents, that's Rubino. He has a lot to do though. He's in a position where he's going to be forced to fight. Control room taken over by Astralis as well. Device unable to get the kill, so that's going to make it hard for the bomb to go down. Nobody covering ramp, nobody covering upper. There's the balcony held by Rubino, so this is a solid round so far from Dignitas, but it is the man advantage for Astralis.
Health's really low on Dupree, though 1 HP, but that might be all the health that he needs. Fox, oh, he's going to connect with Dupree. That's a very important shot. Tensky goes down, so now it's all onto Fox, but the bomb still does need to be planted. So Fox could find himself a way into this. There might be a window of opportunity when a player goes across to plant that bomb, and Fox is going to have to try to figure that out. If he just stays in these choke points, he might have a problem, but they have to go for the plant. And he's going to just stick his neck out there, and it's going to get shot off by Glaive. So 12 to 14, a very close round. Dignitas so close to taking this map, though. Surprisingly, I must say. I definitely expected Astralis to have a much better performance here, but the Dignitas have been really playing quite well.
And Croman as well has had so many high impact kills, even in the first half.
Dignitas 2 rounds away from, I think what's reasonable to say is would be an upset win. Croman repositioning so he doesn't get double peaks immediately. Really smart stuff from him. Self-preservation society. He knows QRB is on top of main. He can relay the information to his teammates. Again, repositioning. Doesn't want to back off too much because he'll be exposed to the silo. But he will do it in timely fashion. I would assume QRB's popped up on the radar again. But there's a very awkward positions to engage from, especially with an M4 versus an AK. No one in Secret this time for the Dignitas team, but they seemingly have conditioned Astralis to be very aware of that position. So again, Dignitas doing a good job of mixing up their CT defenses. Something Nuke can afford you. Seen all the funky positions from G2 in the past. The Smiths era G2. 40 seconds remain for Astralis.
Making their way forward. Now JKM is going to find Zipex. Astralis have an opportunity to plant the bomb, though, quite soon on this lower site. They've locked it down with smokes. Kirby up close. Good post-plant positions for them. Kirby will find a great angle onto Fox. Really favorable peek there with the crouching as well. Snaps down JKM, and all of a sudden, there's only 2 players left here, Tensky and Rubino. How do they make their way back in? That's the question. Rubino wants to drop down there, but there is a monster lurking at the bottom of the well, but it's going to be Rubino that bests Device in that battle. He's going to have to fall back, though. He realizes there's no opportunity saving the AWP. Their money must really be screwed at this point as well, so makes a lot of sense. Indeed it is. Look at the string of blue on the wins there for Dignitas. Crazy.
And also that round is I mean, Croman did a great job outside of not getting picked off, but he also played really passive and really safe, and he couldn't really give the information that Astralis did go down Secret, And despite Dignitas getting those 2 kills on Dupree in lobby and on Zipex, I think it was, on ramp, Astralis still got into the bomb site, still planted the bomb and got favorable after plan situations. Then just great team play. After Kirby got the kill on Fox, he got flashed in, got the kill on JChem, really alleviated all pressure coming from ramp, and they could focus on the remaining Dignitas players. So now Fox with AWP already gets shut down. Rubino picks it up, but the rest of the team is on an eco pretty much. JChem with armor. So it does seem like we will have a tied game.
Jacob had about 5,100. So he spent 15 on full armor and the CZ. Fox taking a huge gamble in Hut with the LWP. Doesn't pay off for him, but indeed it is collected by Rubino, as previously mentioned. And now it's been dropped again. So perhaps Jacob can go on a rescue mission. Although Glave's got the back of the vent, so that's going to be hard. All players, let's see where they're headed. Seems they may not want to engage. It's entirely abandoned ship. Tensky even saving his 5-7, but perhaps he... Oh, they have got the AWP. Okay. That's good. Then Tensky can be the initial engager, although double peak might be coming in from the roof and lower at the same time.
It's a nice forward smoke, actually. That creates a lot of problems. Tensky gets discovered as well. I think that smoke was actually a little bit too deep, but... Ooh, shot missed. Jacob, can he survive? Looks like he'll be fine. Yeah, the smoke was too deep. And Astralis now tying things up 14-14. And you can see that the money is starting to be a little bit of a problem for Dignitas. The save of the AWP is very important, though. That will allow them a full buy with the AWP included in their arsenal. So Dignitas taking a timeout just to mull over the situation as it stands and find out the best course of action. Are they going to do this, Yanko? Is the comeback reals? Is it for real?
Whose comeback are you talking
Astralis.
about now?
Astralis.
Because it was Dignitas on the initial comeback, and this is where it gets extremely interesting. Does Astralis still go for the secret push, and how does Dignitas fight that? I think it's actually going to be 15-14 for Dignitas.
Interesting prediction. Let's see how it goes. A very fast upper rush coming in from Astralis. Kirby trying to open things up. He's not successful, but the trades are there. His teammates are right behind him. And this is going to be tough for Dignitas to get back in. It was so quick that they took this site, Astralis.
Dignitas, what is your play? You've got 4 people. If you get wiped out, you've got no money. You've got 2. This is so awkward. They've got the high ground. At the very least, perhaps they can... Well, Fox has got no flashes, though. So he can't even flash for his teammates come out of the vent, but they've got to try and make it work. And at what point do they stop? 2 players left, and it's going to be the wipeout after all. Rubino coming in completely blind, and that's Astralis on match point. That was a really tough spot for Dignitas.
JK. I think like this is just a matter of making the read, right? An extremely gambly play from Astralis rushing upper bomb side, but because they were putting so much pressure on Yard, they gambled on the fact that Dignitas is actually going to put more bodies there in this round, obviously leaving them weakened on the upper bomb side. And even though Kirby didn't get that kill, he had the jump on the Dignitas player. The trade still came through, and that was basically the upper bomb side being forfeit. And we see Kirby again getting the kill now on Chrome and Dupree on Fox. 5v3 situation. Oh, 5v2 is the dream dead, Dan. The dream is dead.
Is the dream completely dead?
It's gone. It's dead. It's all over.
Is it being shattered? Well, it'll be Dupree to be splattered by Tensky with that UMP. And, well, there it is. Dream gone. It's done. It's done. 16-14 Astralis. The Danes managed to close it. Eventually, it looked like Dignitas were actually going to go all the way, but not to be, and that's going to be absolutely gutting for them. They played pretty well, as did Chromet.
Would you have saved in that round?
The previous round? 15-14 round?
I mean, I think Fox was upper with no flashbangs. There were 2 people stuck in the vent, and I forgot what the 4th guy was. But it just, I mean, it's easy for us because we see all the T's are, but I think they were in a really hard spot to try and retake.
Probably would have been a more sensible call, but...
Not an easy one to make, though.
Definitely not 14-14. You want to try and get the W, but instead they got the D.
Nice.
You're the host, Dan. You continue. What's that?
So we can see that the stat